Hey Clashers, 1 month ago we had a big Town Hall 15 update, which brought us new hero level, we got new defenses, and, really important, we got new troop level. So the big question now is Town Hall 15 now too easy? Is it still too hard? Or what exactly is the current situation? Sadly, Supercell is not sharing any numbers. But wait, there is one Discord server which is tracking all of the different matches from top teams to just teams want to experience the competitive environment. So I think we should jump into those numbers because we can perfectly compare the stats before and after the update and see how it actually impacted those numbers, because a lot of people think that this last update might have just turned Town Hall 15 into Town Hall 14 2.0, and Town Hall 14 was just way too easy with a hit rate, which means a success rate, successful attacks of 3 stars of 70% for most of those top teams. So now the question is this really the case? Is that really the truth? Is that really the one thing which is happening? Well, overall, to answer those questions, I want to give a huge shout out to the Discord server of the competitive Clash network, because they are collecting a ton of data and putting all of those together in shorts for you guys out there to understand. But we want to only take a look at a couple of really important talking points, and I think the first big one is, well, talking about how did all of the teams do before the update. And with that being said, we really have to make sure that everyone understands, because this is just every single team which is just interested in competitive tournaments. And that's a lot of teams, okay? So we have like top teams like Tribe or Navi in this list. By the way, we'll take a look at their stats in just a second. But you can see right now, out of those different teams, the success rate of them from before the update. And overall, over 61,000 attacks. That's a lot of data, and I feel like this stat, because of that, is pretty accurate. Round about 24 to 25% hit rate, which means this is a success rate of 3 stars in 24 to 25 attacks for every overall 100 attacks, which is not that high, to be honest. It's not the highest if you consider that those are tournament players. I mean, yes, inside the competitive community, it is a huge gap between people who just want to like take a look at competitive Clash and then like the top teams. So there's a huge gap from all of the different teams. But remember, probably the worst team on this list is still better, or at least close to what the average Clasher out there is. So this is a really important thing to keep in mind when taking a look at those stats. But now the big question is, how did this change from before to after the update? Because I feel like this is what everyone wants to know, right? So how did that change the meta? Because we had quite a few changes with the hero level, with the defense, with the troops. And remember, this is mainly just the first month, okay? So things will still change, but this is just the first impression. So let's take a look at it. So with seeing the numbers now from after the update until the end of the month, we can see already there is quite an increase in hit rate. What was before 24 to 25% hit rate is now all the way up above 32%, which I think, by the way, is a really good thing. This is a hit rate increase from like 7 to 8%, which I think is pretty nice. I mean, that is pretty nice. And remember, this is like a few of the still like above average Clasher who have like a hit rate, a success rate of every third attack roundabout being a 3-star. And that's again versus some of the top bases and top teams out there. So yeah, I mean, still, I think you could argue on both sides. If it's too easy, if it's too hard, let me know your opinion down below, because I really want to know that. But let's just dive a bit deeper into all of those numbers, because those were now the teams who just signed up for the bot. And by the way, you can do that as well if you're like playing any tournament, whatever. You can as well visit the Discord server and just find out any cool information you would like. Maybe about your favorite teams, your favorite player, because they have as well a hit rate list of the top teams, the top players out there. You can really track pretty much everything. So the link for the Discord server is down below, and a huge shout out goes to them for supporting this video with all of the numbers, because without that, I feel like it's always really hard to guess. And this is something I see a lot of times in the comments. People are like assuming, yeah, 90% don't like that, 90% like, Guys, you don't have any numbers to back those statements up, and that's why I like it so much if you have numbers you can talk about, because this makes things way easier to understand, and this makes those interesting arguments way less random, because, well, you have to back up your point, right? You cannot really just say like 90% like this or that, and that's what we do in this one. We try to back up everything with numbers, and this is another stats right there above me, which is all of the top teams. So overall, the top teams, the top 16 teams, to be completely clear, in the bot itself, like those are the teams to watch based on what the bot is tracking. And the average hit rate before the update was on about 43 to 44%. Now you might wonder, why is this so high compared, for example, to the World Championship? Because in the World Championship, we have seen in the big events this year so far, we have seen a hit rate of 35 to 38%. And those were always the best teams in the world at that point, trying to battle it out for over $1 million. The reason is that in those events, the best spaces and the newest spaces are getting used. In a lot of those tournaments, the community tournaments, yes, they're important, don't get me wrong, but not the new spaces are getting used because it's so hard to bid them. But how did that now change after the update? You can again see the top 16 teams in the bot are having a hit rate of 53, a little bit above 53%, which I think is great. I think the sweet spot, in my opinion, is round about, like for the top teams, around about 50% plus minus 5% roundabout. Because this gives a nice experience for the viewer. The 3-star is not given, but still at the same time, we don't see like those 10 or even 11 score results that often, which I feel like, why should you watch a pro match if you see like 10 or 11 stars? I feel like if a casual just spams E-Dragons, they would maybe get the same results, right? So why should I watch that then, right? So at least that's my understanding. So I like the current numbers for the top teams. But now as well, the question might be, iTzu, what about the top teams? I think right now everyone could agree that there's two teams which seem to be above everyone else. Is that the case? That's not my point to argue about it, but I feel like two teams are having a huge spotlight on them and are kind of getting forced to perform, and that is Na'Vi and Tribe. Tribe, second seed of last year's World Championship. Na'Vi, World Champion of last year. So let's take a look at their numbers before and after the update. And I have to like look over because, as I said, the competitive Clash Network shared all of those stats with me, so I can share them with you guys. First one, Tribe Gaming before the update. Remember, this was before the update. They had an average hit rate, an average success rate of 51.5%. That is insane if you compare that to like the average of the top 16 teams, which was like 43% or something. They were miles ahead of the top teams. And even if you compare that now to Na'Vi before the update, well, Na'Vi before the update was 50% roundabout. You can still see a big difference there. So now the thing is, how did that change after the update? How did those two teams now perform after the update? Well, for Tribe Gaming, it went up from 51% roundabout to overall 59%, which is quite impressive. Nearly a 60% hit rate. That is really incredible. But for Na'Vi, it went up even higher to overall a 62% hit rate for the top teams. And I have to say, I think that's totally fine, considering I don't think you should balance a game for the top two teams in the world. Because if you would balance the game just for them, yes, I could see the point that it might be too easy. But if you take a look at the whole picture, the numbers which I showed in the beginning, you could even raise the point that right now it's still too hard. So now the question is to you guys, what do you think? Is it too hard? Is it too easy right now? And I can already see the comments that people are like going crazy into one or either the other direction. But now you have the numbers to argue, and you don't really have to say anymore, yeah, but 90% of my friends quit because the town of 15 is too... No, now you have the numbers actually, and you don't have to randomly guess anything. So, what do you think right now? Do you think it's too hard? Do you think it's too easy? My experience so far, what I've seen, I have to say I enjoy it quite a bit. We are seeing an incredible variety of surges. which I think is great to watch for a competitive clash as well. I don't think it's like too easy for the top teams, and at the same time I think it's now a little bit easier for a casual player to actually get a 3-star with, for example, Mass Yeti working and stuff like that. So overall, I think were some great changes. But let me know, as I said, what you think about all of this. And thank you so much for watching. If you want to see more stats, as I said earlier, like you can see right now, the top teams, for example, of the month, the top offense and defensive team, you can, by the way, see as well that you can still defend really nicely with like a 76% defense rate. Let me know how you like that. And as I said earlier, huge shout out goes to Competitive Clash Network. If you want to find out more, go visit that Discord server. I will see you guys back tomorrow for the next video. Until then, see ya and bye-bye.